This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet apart. Stay home. Stay home. How's about we coordinated?
We're gonna do it. Give us any cure, we'll take it. Offer us your hand, we'll shake it. We're gonna make those things pull through. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna make us work now. 'Cause we're flattening the curve now. We're gonna see us thing pull through. Doing it our way. There's nothing we won't close. Restaurants and universities, playgrounds, salons, shopping malls. We're gonna do it. On your mark, get set, stay there now. Leave enough to spare us way now. We're gonna make our state pull through. And we'll do it our way, yes, our way. See all our states roll through. And we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make all our dreams come true for me and you.
So I am talking with the team that's created this viral video, and as of this moment, it's over 500,000 views on YouTube. As a Buckeye and an Ohioan, this was really fun because everything we see every afternoon is these press conferences. So Dave Stofka is up in Stow, Ohio, which is kind of south of Cleveland in that area. And Dave and his team are joining me today to talk about the viral video of DeWine and Amy. Dave, thanks so much for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so the first question I have is with this kind of a project, and what came first? Did you think, this would be a Laverne and Shirley a parody, or did you have the animation in your head first? How did this start?
Well, to be honest, it started just as something to fill my time. I'm a freelancer, and my work kind of dried up about 3 weeks ago. And I don't know that it was necessarily coronavirus related. I mean, I have busy and slow times all the time. So, but the difference was there's all this bad news in the world and not being able to go anywhere and plans being canceled. So I told my wife I desperately needed to find something creative to just take my mind off things so I didn't spiral into anxiety.
But you've been watching these press conferences, and for people who aren't living in Ohio who don't see these press conferences happen every day, and they're typically with our lieutenant governor, our governor, and then Dr. Amy Acton, who is always in her white coat and so forth. Did you start seeing this kind of being an animated thing? Because I have to say I have great respect for Governor DeWine, but he does have kind of a cartoon character appeal to him, doesn't he?
I'm a huge fan of Saturday Night Live, and I know if they were on the air right now, we'd be seeing sketches with them and that sort of thing. And not to make, I guess to make fun, but make light of everything. But I don't know. At some point, I guess I was just amazed looking at people's reactions on Facebook. I saw so many people who would show their schedules with their kids that they're trying to homeschool, and they'd take a break at 2:00 for their time for the press conference, and families would watch together, and people would have wine with DeWine or snacking with Acton, I think. And so it was just a phenomenon. And at some point I thought, gosh, all they need is a theme song, and they're just like a sitcom or something that everybody tunes into. And I thought, I don't know, a couple theme songs came into my head, and as soon as I thought of Laverne and Shirley, my mind was bombarded with all these visual ideas and fun things you could do to comparing the two, and it just snowballed.
It was really great. And of course, Laverne and Shirley is probably number 2 behind the Mary Tyler Moore theme song to me. So it's a great one. It's an uplifting one. And obviously when you're doing this type of production with the animation, video has to follow audio. So you had to get the song recorded. Talk me through the process. And Alyssa is with us, who does the vocals. Kind of walk me through the process of how that song became part part of the icon here?
My contribution to the process was pretty minimal. Dave had already created this entire thing that I didn't know anything about. And he contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in singing something for something he created. I know if there's a software involved, it's going to be pretty awesome, whatever it is. So I immediately said yes. He said, I think it's going to be in your range. It's just something kind of fun. And he sent me the lyric sheet, and he sent me the video that he had created thus far. And immediately I knew that it was going to be huge. And I jumped at the opportunity to record it. And I'm glad I did. So it was a pretty simple process. I recorded it on an app at home. And so we practiced the social distancing to collaborate on this project. We were never even in the same building. And I sent it to him, and he worked his magic.
Dave, when did this, how long ago did this begin? Because obviously, as I'm recording this, it dropped yesterday. And this is not something I know from animation does not happen in like 24, 72 hours.
No, I think it was about 3 weeks ago now. So a little under 3 weeks of total time from when I got the crazy idea and started working on it to when it launched.
Jessica, you were in on all this. What was your take on this when he when he started coming up with this?
Well, if you know Dave, you know he's creative, and he has ideas all the time. So he often will run ideas past the kids and I, and we'll veto things or but this one was so hilarious, and we were on board right away and spent a lot of time watching his work in progress and making comments and contributions, and the kids were really helpful. They have no idea what Laverne Shirley is, so that's we watched the original opening with them so that they could weigh in. So it was definitely a family. Well, he did all the work, but we definitely had some input, good and bad, I guess.
They definitely, they're my best critics. They'll say if something like, Dad, that's not funny, or Dad, I think you should do this.
Dave and John, did you both kind of work on the lyrics together? And tell me how that process worked. Were there things you, what were the nuggets out of these? These are press conferences. There's nothing exciting about them. It's like we're shutting it down. We're locking you up. Governor DeWine's a great guy, but I noticed in the animation, he has a decaf coffee. He doesn't have a caffeinated coffee because he's very low energy. And then there's a whole, like you mentioned, there's a whole group of people who are in love with Dr. Acton because she's a mom and she communicates very well and is very empathetic. So what were some of the nuggets you guys wanted to see in these lyrics, and then maybe even in the animation that you wanted to get across? Like this, these are the gotta haves.
Well, Dave's talked to me about it about a couple of weeks ago and mentioned the project that he was working on. And he and I go way back, even to elementary school. We were friends back then. And we were both fans of 70s classic TV, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. So I knew right away, what he meant when he talked about it, because it is an iconic opening. And of course, it's a song that is a pretty short, rhyming scheme. So, basically, as far as my part was, I just kind of helped brainstorm some things that could be included, some of the phrases that come out of the press conference, like flattening the curve and that kind of thing that could tie in. And that was pretty much all that I did, was just kind of maybe let him bounce some ideas off me and encourage him to go for it.
Let me jump in. The very first lyric, John, that you told me that really clicked with me was "Offer us your hand, won't shake it," and then that gelled with, there's that scene where they're clocking into the State House, like that's what they would do, and there's a security guard who offers his hand, and so that kind of spurred more ideas, but that initial one was very crucial. It also, we were very careful. We went back and forth on text a lot with trying to find just the right lyrics, and we didn't want to offend. We didn't want to be too, I don't know, over the top, I guess.
It was not offensive, and it was fun, and it was lighthearted. Have you heard anything from the governor's office yet?
No. Heard from a couple people in the State House press corps, so it's close to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not heard yet, though. You know, I wouldn't read too much into it. I wanted it to be silly and give people a positive feeling. You know, there is so much doom and gloom, and it's very easy in life, not just for these epic tragedies like we're living through right now, but, you know, daily life, it's easy to focus on the negative, and it takes a little bit more work to find humor in things. And so I guess, you know, I just wanted to make people laugh.
Well, I think you accomplished it, and I encourage, when, you know, if as people pull this up on YouTube, take the time to scan it frame by frame, and pick it apart, because, like I said, I picked up the whole caffeinated coffee and the Java thing with at the beginning. One of my, I don't know what it is, because I've been to our State House here in Columbus many times with the kids, and the lieutenant governor doing the twirl over the granite floor with the Ohio in it. Little details like that are just very impressive, because I know the State House, I know the details. Obviously you did, and you took the time to make it really, you know, just not something you threw together. It has that type of detail. What are some of the things that you know, maybe the person just watching through that real quickly wouldn't catch, but some of the details you really like when you scan through and go, oh, I really like what I did there?
Well, I'll tell you, this morning I was tickled. There's a little scene in there, a fictional scene, where I have DeWine like on a giant demonstration of flattening the curve, and in the corner there's a little sign that says COSI on wheels. And if you're probably familiar, COSI is a science museum in Columbus. And this morning I saw on Facebook that they spotted the logo, and they were proud of that, and they shared the video, and that just tickled me. We took our kids to COSI ever since they were little, and that was my little homage to them.
10 years from now, I don't think anybody's going to watch through the press conferences, but somebody's going to pull up this video and say, do you remember the 2020 corona crisis in that video they made in Ohio? You know, just kind of going through, maybe Jonathan and Jessica and Lisa, you could just give me your quick thoughts, and I'll wrap up with Dave in a second.
I think it's the feel good quality. You know, I mean, I have warm memories of Laverne and Shirley, and of course tying that in with what we need right now is just a great connection. And as I was reading many of the comments wherever this was posted, that seemed to be the number one thing. People would see it and just have a warm feeling about it. And I think that's beautiful that Dave was able to do that in the midst of what we're going through.
What are your thoughts, Jessica?
First of all, I hope I can someday get the song out of my head. That would be and no offense, Alyssa, it's not your version. No. It's the original. And I just want to say, this has been so funny, because the kids and I with Dave were just like, ooh, maybe the governor will see it. We had no idea, you know, that this would blow up like this. I mean, it's a lesson in social media, and, you know, be careful what you share, because look what can happen, good or bad. So, but yeah, it's been really fun the past 24 hours. So
I bet. Elisa, what's your thoughts?
I'm just honored to be a part of it. Everything that the Safkas do is phenomenal. They're just really great people. They're the kind of people that are always fun to be around. So to have Dave do something that creates so much joy for so many people, and to play any small role in that is an honor. It's bringing a lot of people a lot of happiness at a time that, you know, it's kind of hard to find sometimes. So yeah, well, pretty cool.
Dave, before I let you kind of do a take home here, tell me about your company, where people can find out more about it. When people get out of this funk we're in, how can they get a hold of you and find out more about what you do?
It's stafkacreative.com. And, you know, I'm sure if you see the video, you'll find a link to it not very far. And I do web development and animation. Web development has been my bread and butter, but so many people do web development, and animation's a little bit more niche. So, and that's something I just adore. I have so much fun doing these projects. So,
Dave, if 15 years, 20 years from now, somebody's at a party and they're like, "What do you do?" And you have to go back to, "I did the DeWine and Amy cartoon." Is that okay with you as a career? Is this okay if this is your career high point?
Oh yeah, I've loved doing what I do. I've done a lot of small client work, and I try to make every client happy with what I do, and that it brings me satisfaction. I'm tickled that so many people are finding happiness in this, and during this difficult time.
Since the beginning of the year, we have been talking about not letting fear take over. And this was before we even knew there was going to be a coronavirus. We just felt a lot of people were living in fear and worried about things and taking risks in small business. And then the coronavirus thing hit, and we've been encouraging people, when things go down, something comes up, and if you can look for opportunities, amazing things may happen. And I think what you and your kind of team and family there have done, you've made a bad situation into a great opportunity. And I hope when things kick back up, it pays off in droves, because you brought a lot of happiness to the folks here in Ohio, and I think across the country as they learn what's going on. So congratulations on a fun piece there.
Thank you very much.